Are you ready to listen to my dad Joe and Uncle Justin talk about sports? Now on with the show.
The Joe Mays and J-Raff Show is brought to you by Mays Sandwich Shop, which have been serving the greater West Lawn area delicious food for over 70 years. You are listening to the Joe Mays and J-Raff Show.
Boring.
A weekly podcast about sports since 2011.
Don't you ever get tired of being wrong all the time?
With a focus on football.
Second and goal. Pass. Got it. Touchdown. This guy has had some year.
Al, I've got to tell you, in a pressure situation, I don't know if I have ever seen anybody be better than Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. Wow, what a drive.
4th and 1. Burrow trying to keep it going, gets spun down, gets it away, and incomplete. Rams now running down to celebrate with a defensive play.
And guess who?
Of course.
I mean, you don't even have to think about it.
Pointing to the ring finger.
When everything was on the line for the Rams, yes, we know it was Aaron Donald.
But the Rams were built to win the Super Bowl, and they have sealed the deal.
Now, here are your hosts, Joe Mays and Justin Raffoff. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Joe Mays and J-Raff Show. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Mays, and along here with me is my co-host, Justin Raffoff, and he will be joining us. I mean, he's here. He's going to be on the screen shortly as we're in the middle of playing our NCAA Football 14 Dynasty mode, Year 3 with the Florida Atlantic Owls. We are playing games 7 and 8 tonight, and we already got started because it's been taking us some time to work through these things. We just played a few plays, nothing major. So I'm going to transition this over so you can watch us play, and then Justin's going to lead the conversation. And I believe we're going to talk a lot of NFL, some March Madness, and apparently Justin wants to talk soccer.
Well, I brought up the soccer part off the show because I didn't think I had a shot to make it on the show. So, but maybe in a different time. But the NFL has been keeping us busy. Like, it's never a dull moment, is it?
Well, and you or Adam or both of you in our group chat mentioned how there used to never be big, interesting trades in the NFL. You'd get one every few years, right. Maybe.
And certainly not, like, if there was, it was around the draft.
Right.
Like, it would have been involving the picks, and it probably would have been in a few more weeks when the draft is happening. Not just, like, start of the league.
We've been getting 2 to 3 every week for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
And I'm kind of loving it, but it's definitely crazy.
So in case you haven't been able to tell, although maybe I already mentioned it, we're playing number 2 Georgia, who's like in 99s across the board.
Yeah.
So this could be interesting for us.
Could be an interesting one, yeah.
We've dropped from 4 to 6, as we didn't have a great week last week.
No, we won both games, but not super impressively against inferior opponents. And to match that up, now we go against superior opponents.
But we are on the road playing Georgia here, which is good for us. We play much better on the road.
Yeah, typically that is a little bit better for us.
So we are 6-0. We dropped to 6th in the country, and we were 4th. But here we are playing games 7 and 8. Number 2 Georgia right now in game 7. Justin on defense, I'm on offense. But yeah, so the NFL. Let's first start with the quarterbacks because those are the ones that people are most interested in. We saw another quarterback traded. My dad said, "Let me know when you're going to have soccer on. I'll go take my shower." The quarterback traded this time was Atlanta Falcons, decade plus main guy, Matt Ryan, a Pennsylvania guy, out of Boston College though. He goes from Atlanta to the Colts, who got rid of Wentz a few weeks ago, to the Commanders. That kind of got the quarterback carousel started, I think, was the Wentz trade. So Washington jumped in early. Indianapolis was patient. and they end up getting Matt Ryan. So now I think this is like the Colts' 5th or 6th different starting quarterback in the same number of years.
I think it's 6. They will have 6 different starting quarterbacks on week 1, 6 different years, or like 6 straight years.
Yeah. So that all starts with Luck's injury history, and then his unprompted retirement, like just came out of nowhere a few years ago, and it's been a carousel of quarterbacks there ever since. 2 years ago it was Phillip Rivers for the Colts. Last year it was Carson Wentz. This coming year it'll be Matt Ryan. I like the trade for the Colts. I think they got a guy that can still play. I think he's as good as Carson Wentz, if not better. And he has a better supporting crew with him in Indianapolis than he's had in Atlanta the last few years. So I think the Matt Ryan Indianapolis marriage here, even if it only lasts a year, is a good one. I think it definitely keeps Indianapolis as a team to watch there in the AFC South with the reigning champs Titans, and with the way the Titans have played down the stretch the last few years. And I know the Colts had a collapse that left them out of the playoffs, whereas the Titans made it. But the Titans haven't looked good in the playoffs, and if the Colts can pressure them during the regular season, you never know what's going to happen. So I think the Colts are one of the I think a lot of people are saying there's 12 or 13 teams that could legitimately make the playoffs in the AFC next year. And I don't see why the Colts wouldn't be one of them.
No, I agree, especially because, and again, I know Houston is a weird one because they should have been worse than they were last year. You know what I mean? And
right. They overperformed last year.
And now I know they're kind of starting over again, but they're like, oh, they lost to Sean Watson. Not really. They lost him last year.
He didn't play it down for him last year.
Right. So, it's kind of, I don't really chalk that up as a loss this year. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So we were having technical difficulties before the show with the game and the recording and television set up. And now we're having issues playing the game as Justin and I have not been able to do anything.
Yeah, game error earlier.
Yeah.
User error now.
Yeah, so not great, not ideal. But we're not down and out, okay?
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's good for the Colts. We had mentioned a little before when Wentz left Indianapolis that was pretty. That was sealed in Week 18 with that performance by him and the team. That just wasn't going to work. I know we touched on that before, but I'm really kind of tough spot there because I really like Carson. I don't want to say he got a raw deal. I feel like it was a bad situation in Philly, just the way everything unfolded. I said, and I may have said it to you. I know I said it to my dad. When Wentz got hurt, in the immediate, I was like, well, there goes their chance. He was playing at an MVP level. I'm like, there goes their chance at a Super Bowl. And then I'm like, well, you know what? They still have a chance. They can still get this done because the rest of the team was good enough. And they did get it done. But, before the playoffs even started, I was like, watch Nick Foles lead them to the championship, and then, the Eagles will win a championship without Wentz, and it'll become this whole big thing. And it did.
That exact thing.
And it did exactly become that whole big thing. So, I mean, you never know, how that'll turn out. I think it's also a good kind of refresher for Matt Ryan. I feel like it's a good reset for Atlanta, a good reset for him. We talk about that with coaches sometimes, how, at some point, you just need to kind of reset. The voice isn't the same in the room, kind of like when Andy Reid left the Eagles. Now, it was a while ago now, but, it would – I know it sounds crazy.
That was a decade
He's
ago.
had a lot more success in Kansas City than the Eagles have necessarily had, but, the Eagles have also won a Super Bowl since then, and he's won a Super Bowl since then. It has worked out for both. It worked out for both of them.
Yep.
And so when you just look at those things, sometimes the change isn't necessarily bad. So I think Matt Ryan still got plenty left. I don't think he was the problem in Atlanta. And again, this is another one like Phillip Rivers, where early on I was quick.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe not quick, but I guess quick to criticize Matt Ryan when the opportunity would present itself. But like that has changed now.
Yeah, you always had a thing against Phillip Rivers, and I don't think it was to the same degree for Matt Ryan, but I've also never.
Well, I
been
think Matt Ryan's personality honestly makes it a little harder to have those strong feelings. Like Phillip Rivers was always like screaming on camera and everything like that, and like it just, that was annoying. I mean, and I know like as he went on, like I feel like your perspective of that changed too, because you heard more about it. You heard more about like what he would say and what he was fussing. You know, like it was different. But all right, there we go. But yeah, I'm interested to see what Matt Ryan can do there, and it'll be good for Atlanta to kind of restart as well. You know, they got young nucleus last year.
Do you think Mariota has a kind of renaissance there? Do you think he's able to show anything, or was he just
I don't know, but
overhyped coming out of college? Because for a while we thought for sure the Eagles were getting him. You remember that?
Right. Well, and I think the Eagles would have if they could, but I don't think the Titans wanted to give it up. You know, like here we go.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, there we go. 3 and out. Get the ball back.
I don't like because and it worked out because the Eagles didn't end up having the chance to go through. But when that happened, when Matt Ryan left, then it became like every quarterback from 2006 through 2016, maybe I'm not exactly sure.
Has
maybe
changed clubs or something.
Is no longer on. None of them are playing for the team that drafted them. Either they're not playing or they're playing but not for the same team. What's kind of funny is like if you take Tom Brady out of the equation, like let's try and think of who are some of the old quarterbacks then. Matt Ryan would be one, right? Like,
well, I guess it depends on what you're defining as
well,
old.
So
too.
what I'm thinking is with Brady out of the
talking
equation,
like drafted pre like 2011, like 2010 and earlier.
Yeah. So basically, I'll kind of get to what I was gonna get to here was that if Brady's out of the equation, are Henny and Matt Ryan the oldest guys in the league? Not the oldest guys. Like among the oldest quarterbacks in the league. Because they were the same draft, weren't they?
Yeah, they were 08.
Right, and they're both Pennsylvania guys. And
right,
honestly,
because remember the Dolphins had the number 1 pick.
They're like 45 minutes apart. Like, you know, like because he's from Westchester, isn't he? Isn't he a Westchester?
I think down in the Downingtown area or something.
Like you said, he played for a private school, but like, yeah, like it was interesting that like, aside from Brady, they may be the oldest 2 quarterbacks. I don't know that, and that's hard to do. Like starters, we could go through.
Well, Fitzpatrick.
Oh yeah.
I don't know when he. Kidding me. Shut up.
Is this Georgia's team this year? What the heck is this? But yeah, I think it's good for them. So here we go. More NFL news. Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Going to the Dolphins, man.
That one came out of nowhere. That came on super quick. I feel like within an hour it was reported.
Right.
And done.
So, yeah, I saw the report that it may happen after you had texted me that it was happening. Like,
I should have had that down, and the video game camera twirled, and I no longer was standing where the ball was coming down.
Well, of course not.
Yeah, so Miami all in on this year. I guess maybe either trying to prove that they were just a few pieces away or a coach away, and they can have a definitive proof of whether or not Tua is going to be the guy going forward. They have the apparently offensive mastermind, as you know, and I was vocal on this show that Mike McDaniel was not in my top 5 choices for the Dolphins. The aura around him has apparently led a lot of players to want to come and play there, so maybe I'm completely wrong, and if it means my team is good, I'm fine with that.
Well, see, like I feel like a lot of players thought highly of the Niners and the Niners like system, and like putting putting it on the playmakers kind of in unique and innovative ways. And, hey, that would be great if the Dolphins could get on that. And
Pick that.
oh, my gosh. And what better way to do it than to get Tyreek Hill and
Right.
pair him with
Jalen
Waddle.
and Mike Gesicki.
Right, like that.
And the biggest thing is they upgraded the offensive line, and they're
Yes,
making
yes.
attempts to upgrade the offensive line. You know, they signed Connor Williams from the Cowboys, who I know some people aren't high on, including Ross Tucker.
So when that happened, I was going to be like, hey, you got the guy that was the biggest liability on the Cowboys line last year.
I know, but
No,
I thought you had that. They have other guys. I'm hoping maybe some positional shifts will take place, and they still have an opportunity to add depth in the draft. And we just saw last year, didn't the Chiefs get a guy who was even talked about as offensive rookie of the year in like the 3rd or 4th round?
Yes, yeah.
Creed Humphrey, right? Wasn't he like a 4th round draft pick?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you can find good offensive linemen. You don't have to take in the 1st and 2nd
no,
round.
absolutely not.
So the Dolphins still they have their 3rd round pick. They can make improvements, and that's what they're going to need to do. They also signed Terron Armstead, who was like at worst in the top 5 available free agents this year.
Oh yeah, I love that
one.
one. That's a really good one for him.
Had him number 1, and I know the biggest drawback is
look at their line. It's all messed up.
what is going on? They're gonna run out of time. Oh no, they're not. Why didn't they?
Oh,
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. I can't believe they just did that.
I hate everything.
It's a good thing we get the ball. Oh, wait, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, Terron Armstead, the biggest thing is his durability is cause for concern. He's not able to ever finish the year. He's always getting hurt. So, but hopefully he can stay healthy. They're banking on that. Miami should be able to compete in the AFC as a potential top 8 team. Make the playoffs. They were 9-8 last year, and they've only gotten better on paper. And I know winning the offseason doesn't mean anything. But they hopefully, with the scheme changes and the players they brought in, I'm hopeful that the offense can rise up even just a little bit. Closer to the defense. And you got to think if they do that, they're going to win another 1 or 2 games.
Right.
And that's a 10 or 11 win team.
Right. I really like the fact that if they're set on Tua being their guy, that you're going to find out whether or not he's your guy. Does that make sense? Like
you're going to find out in the first 6 to 8 weeks.
Right. And that's what we want. We talked about that with a bunch of guys, how, we never really ever find out. Right? And I think we had this conversation about other quarterbacks last week. Oh, crap. Ooh. But yeah, like I'm intrigued to see how this plays out. You know, like I want to see,
me too.
What he's got.
But the AFC is just insane right now.
Oh yeah.
Because you look at it, out west, all 4 teams, I think you could now say, could win the division.
Yeah.
And this is before the draft.
Yeah.
Any of the 4 teams, if you told me won the West, I wouldn't be shocked. The North, I think, is a crapshoot too. There's a lot of variables still out there. Are the Steelers done at quarterback? Is it going to be Trubisky? Is Deshaun Watson going to play for the Browns this year? Or is the NFL going to step in and are things going to change with his status? What happens with Baker Mayfield? Can Joe Burrow and the Bengals repeat the incredible sophomore season from him in year 3? The Ravens fell apart late last year, but are very good, and I expect them to be very good again this year. Like I think if you told me any of those 4 teams won the AFC North, I don't think that would surprise me.
I agree.
So then you look at the South. I think the South, you're looking at the Titans and Colts again. Go again. Go again. Oh.
Yeah, the crazy thing here, there are 3 teams that could have NFL MVP caliber quarterbacks in the AFC North.
Yeah.
Like, if Joe Burrow won I wouldn't be stunned if Joe Burrow won NFL MVP. I wouldn't be stunned if Lamar Jackson won MVP. He's already done it.
Right.
I wouldn't be stunned if Deshaun Watson... Well, actually... Okay.
Well, his play on the field
field, he may be the best of all of them.
Right. Which is crazy to think about.
Look, NFL... The NFL, more than any other league, is like, we don't care. Sorry, I don't mean like the league itself. I just mean like the way it works. Like, to show, like, for example, this is not good. Like Brian Cushing, remember, had steroid history in high school, steroid history in college, steroid history in the NFL, including a positive test when he wins.
Combine, right?
Well, right, and he won NFL Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. They re-vote and vote for him anyway. Like, they just don't care. And that's fine. Like, that is what it is. That's a different topic. However, I can't imagine a scenario where Deshaun Watson wins NFL MVP.
Right.
Even if he plays, like, even if he was only suspended a couple games and played
also
amazing.
With the caveat that nothing comes out that this was that this ended up. I don't even really want to talk about it because anything I say will be misconstrued.
Right.
But, like, unless the off the field stuff drastically changes.
Right. Unless there's a change there in his favor beyond something I can really comprehend happening. Nice. Very nice.
With the backup, the guy that went out hurt is our Heisman Trophy winner.
Right. But yeah, so
all right, so so let's go back to the South then.
Yeah.
So Titans and Colts are probably your 1-2.
Right.
I don't think the Texans are going to be there to compete. Could they be better than even they were last year? I think it's possible.
Right.
And then that leaves the Jaguars, which I think are a really interesting team this year because, I mean, last year was just a disaster because not only were you breaking in a rookie quarterback, one of which Justin and I have always said is going to be overhyped and overrated as a pro.
Right. We're just like, pump the brakes. Like,
but you had a dumpster fire of a coach who we also were like, that's not going to work out. Like, why are they even interested in him?
Man, in that article you shared with me.
That athletic.
All right. His abdominal strain, he's out for the game, which is not ideal, but it's not worse than that. So that's.
Yeah, I always thought it was going to say a knee or a broken leg or something. So the Jaguars moving on and just a change in that culture in the locker room, and they're going out and spending money, even if they're overspending.
Right.
They're spending to get guys into a system that now Doug Peterson is in control.
A coach is this is one of those where they swung the other way. They got a players coach, like, oh man.
Whew. So honestly, do I think the Jags are a playoff team? I don't think I can go that far.
No, but
do I think they could surprise people this year? Absolutely.
I think they're going to be a heck of a lot better this year than they were last year.
But they would still be in my bottom 3 in the AFC at the moment. Then the Texans and the Jets. That's the other team. Because I think in the AFC East it's Buffalo, and then it's Miami, New England. Who's going to be the number 2 there?
Yeah.
Obviously, I hope it's Miami.
Right. Well, and to be honest, it has to be now. Like, I'm not saying that
you
will
mean
be,
like based on the talent there,
based on them going all in. Like
you're
anything,
absolutely right.
Anything short of second would be
a
not
disaster.
Good this year.
I mean, I guess you could get third, but also make the playoffs. But then that means
in some weird scenario where they win 11 games but are third in the division or something like that.
They lose out the tiebreaker. Both Miami and New England are 11-6, but Buffalo was 14-3 or something like that.
So assuming that's not the case.
Well, that would mean the AFC West
all
massively
right, 4th
underachieved.
and 11 at midfield.
Take it. We'll take it. So, but that's what I mean. Like, the AFC is just stocked with talent. It's just really absurd.
Okay. I thought I did something other than start.
Wouldn't put it past you.
Right. So, and there's just been such crazy, major changes for every team there except the Titans. right?
Right,
Like,
pretty much. I mean, they got rid of Julio Jones and they brought in Robert
again,
Woods.
Like, how many times are the Titans going to show us the same movie?
Yeah.
Over and over again. Going to be good in the regular season.
They were trying to make it a point of hey, we can do this without Derrick Henry too. Yeah, you could, but then in the playoffs you couldn't do anything.
So now, what makes you think? Look at how stacked the quarterbacks are in the AFC, and what makes you think Ryan Tannehill is going to get it done now?
Oh, here, let's do that fun thing we did a little bit ago. Let's rank the AFC quarterbacks.
Okay.
Or not, I guess rank isn't this. So where are they in relative to Ryan Tannehill? Are they better or worse?
Yep. So
let's
want to start out west?
Yeah, start out west.
So let's just see.
You can go in alphabetical order if that makes it easier.
Dude, I cannot go in alphabetical order. I have to think of a map. What do you mean alphabetical order? Do you think of these things in alphabetical order?
Denver, Kansas.
No, I look at a map. I start in the west. I'm starting in the bottom left of the United States.
You're weird.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I don't even know you anymore. Okay, so Denver. Russell Wilson. I'm taking Russell Wilson over
Tannehill.
Ryan
Tannehill. Mahomes next.
Yep.
That's not even a conversation.
Yes, no. Derek Carr.
Vegas Carr. That's a tough one.
Right.
That's a tough one.
Right.
I feel like honestly right now I might give the edge to Carr, which people I think
would
might
too.
call me crazy.
I would
but
too.
That's me.
But I think if
you
put Derek Carr on those Tennessee teams, you don't see any difference. And we've seen Ryan Tannehill on a bad team. I shouldn't say a bad team.
Watch it.
On a team without the weapons that he needs. We've seen that, right? We've seen that before. Oh, nice move. Nice move.
Now I need to get this. Oh my god.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? I mean, all I do is hand it off anyways, so. All right, got the backup in. Yeah, so Derek Carr, I'll give the edge to Carr. Herbert, I'm taking Herbert.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we have none. We have none that we've taken.
So far, we're 4 for 4 for not Tannehill.
All right, so let's go to the north then.
I'm taking Burrow. I'm taking Jackson. I'm taking Watson.
Yeah.
The only one I'm not is Trubisky.
I agree. And this sounds terrible because I'm not I think that's a good low risk, potentially high reward for the Steelers. I'm not down on that.
I'm
move.
not trying to hate on
It's just
Trubisky.
different.
He hasn't Tannehill showed more.
Right.
He's also had a lot of time. I'm keeping the backup in.
Okay.
What a story. What a story to go to Georgia and pull it off. Do you want me to let the clock run?
I was gonna say I would try for another. Well, do you think you can get another first down?
I don't know.
Well, let's see how first down goes.
Okay.
Because if you get in a spot where we might get the first down, then I would say start bleeding it and see if we can maybe kick the field goal. That's all right. 3 yards. 3 yards.
All right. So we've taken 7. So we have 7 in front of Tannehill, 1 behind.
Right. Let's go to the east. Let's skip to the east.
Okay. So you're taking Josh Allen.
I'm taking Josh Allen.
What about Mac Jones?
I'm taking Tannehill over Mac Jones right now.
No, I agree. I agree. I think some has been
ceiling,
shown there, but
well, I would say the ceiling is much higher, just because I feel like there's a lot of unknowns with him yet. Oh my gosh!
I did not hit the twirl button. The spin button fast enough. Whew, he got lit up.
I would start milking it here too.
Yeah.
Make them use timeouts too.
Yep. I'm just looking for the right play that'll get me the first down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, no, I'm with you 100% there. I take Tannehill over Jones. I take Tannehill over Tua. I hope that changes this year. I take Tannehill over Zach Wilson, too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love for Tua to have a heck of a year and, that be oh, my gosh.
So in that division, we went only 1 ahead of him, right?
Yeah.
So we're at 8.
Well, no.
right? Just
Oh yeah,
just
yeah.
Josh
Sorry,
Allen,
sorry.
right?
Yes, I just misunderstood what you said.
Yeah, we took so we're up to 8 in front of Tannehill, just in the AFC.
Right.
8 in front of
Right.
him.
And now into his division.
I take Matt Ryan ahead of him,
I do too.
so that's 9. I don't take Trevor Lawrence. I don't take Davis Mills.
Right.
So I take 9 in front of him though.
Just in the AFC though.
Just in the AFC.
Right. And
Which means so he's a top 10 quarterback in the AFC, which is only 16 teams.
Right. Yeah.
They haven't used any timeouts yet.
No, and they had that weird thing at the end too of the first half.
N'Kobe Dean.
Gosh. Man, I'd love for the Eagles to get him.
I think we'd all love for our teams to get him.
And some of the projections don't have him going to like the 20s. Like,
Well, my team has no shot. We're not picking to pick 101 now. But it's all right. We got Tyreek Hill. I can't really be that mad
right,
about
like
that,
you,
right?
right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Should I have taken a knee there?
No.
I don't really like doing that. If I can score a touchdown, I want to score a touchdown.
Right.
I know there's all kinds of analytics and football philosophers out there that would probably say that was the wrong thing.
In real life, yeah, maybe we do. But like in video game stuff, you don't. No.
So,
Show you onside kick.
um,
No, I'm kicking out the end zone.
yeah. So I mean, the Titans are what we,
Oh, I thought he was returning it.
Are they good enough to win 11, 10 to 12 games? Sure, they could be. They're a 10-7 team, maybe a 12-5 team, but I don't have any confidence in them to do anything in the postseason. 2 years in a row, they've laid an egg.
Yep.
So I don't even really know why we focused on Tannehill and the Titans. It had nothing to do with any of the trades that happened, other than Matt Ryan going to the Colts, I guess.
In the SEC, that's intentional grounding, by the way. So.
Yeah. Anything else NFL related you wanted to talk about this week?
I do like some of the things the Eagles have done. Not so much. Did they pick up the receiver Pascal or whatever out of Indy?
Yeah.
Who was actually rated lower than Jalen Reagor in some categories. But they picked up the linebacker White out of.
Was it Kazir?
Yeah, Kazir White. I like that. I mean he had a good year with San Diego. I'm all for that. They can always use help there. Oh my gosh. 4th and 5. They have 2 timeouts. Maybe they'll punt.
Maybe. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. All right. So how about you want to talk a little March Madness?
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Talk about the madness. Unfortunately, we saw the end of the 15 seed St. Peter's today. The Peacocks, they could not hang with North Carolina. They lost big. But great run by them. First 15 seed to ever make the Elite Eight. So
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun.
So how about, and you might have seen this, their coach, right, played in the McDonald's All-American game with Kobe, all right, and actually won player of the game.
Oh, wow. No, I didn't see that. Did
Yeah.
not see that.
Yeah.
So we have our Final Four, though, now.
Yes, and, man,
you got, what?
blue
is it-
bloods everywhere.
Is it a 1, 2 2s, and an 8, or is it 2 1s, a 2, and an 8? It's Kansas.
Was a 1.
Right, and they get Villanova.
Kansas plays Villanova, yeah.
Who's a 2. And Duke was a 2, right? Was Duke a 2?
Duke was a 2.
Yes, and Duke
yes.
a UNC. So we got a 1 versus a 2, Kansas, Villanova, great matchup. And then we get Duke, UNC.
By the way, we were down 14-0 at half.
Yeah,
and came
we
back
were.
And won this game.
Those picks by you to start the second half was huge. Oh, yeah, look at that.
That's a massive classic score, too.
Number 1. What a huge win by us. That was
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
If anyone's watching, excuse me, Dad, you should, congratulate us on such a huge victory right there.
I know you were on the edge of your seat.
I know. Right. Well, just wait till we start talking soccer. No, March Madness. It was crazy. I did awful in the bracket this year.
So I didn't start out real strong, but my 2 finalists are still in it. So I'm doing really well. I'm in the 95th percentile, okay? Now, I shouldn't say that because I don't know how things went after. Oh, here.
Oh, I just didn't know.
Yeah, I got distracted.
I don't know.
So I'm doing really well. But, so like after the first game today.
Well, you have Kansas, right?
Right. I do have Kansas. I was in 4th place in the show one. I'm going to try and pull it up so that I can see. I'm sorry. I'm in the 94.5th percentile right now with my bracket. And in the show, I'm 4th. I'm tied for 4th with, I think, Isaac. Was Isaac Hat Guy?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm tied for 4th with Isaac and Brandon Doms. And then, but I'm behind my wife, who is in 2nd place, right? But I'm in 4th.
She has Villanova, right? No, she has Duke.
She is Duke. Out of 50 brackets, I'm
59.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. It didn't load up. So out of 59, I am 4th. In one that I have that's just me and the boys and my parents. All right? Now, multiple brackets for different people. I'm 5th.
Nice.
All right? Because I am behind each of my dad's brackets and Jamie's bracket. Now, if Kansas wins, I have a shot.
We got points for a 14-point comeback victory. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's pretty cool. All right, now we host UTSA. So if we go by any of the way that our games normally go, this is a home game
And we get
against
smoked.
a crappy opponent. So this is going to be a nail biter.
And we did jump to 5.
Yeah, we did jump to 5, but Georgia's probably 4, like I said.
Right.
I should have pulled it up. Georgia's probably 4.
However, BCS stuff is the only one that really matters, right?
Right. Yeah. I think we
could.
could be different there, and that doesn't come out for I think till week 12 or something. But so I want to give a shout out to pretty much everyone in my family is doing better than me. So unfortunately, my sister Corinne is alive and well because she has UNC winning it all.
Yeah, we need that.
We need that to not happen. So go Duke. I mean, always and forever.
So
I'm
today,
rooting for
Jamie
Duke.
started talking about the pressure of the game. Like she was the pressure of the game, and I'm like, Jimmy, this is why we can't do semi-competitive things that are just kind of for fun because she is ultra competitive. Like, and I am too, but like differently. But so here we go. I wanted to talk to you about this, about March Madness and the Final Four, because based on my bracket, like my bracket and my rooting interests are going to be in conflict probably in all 3 games. Okay?
Oh, really?
So, well, potentially. I shouldn't say
Oh,
that.
because you want Villanova to win,
Because
but
I
Kansas...
want Villanova to win, but I need Kansas to win for my bracket.
Yeah.
All right? And we're at the point where, like, where you're rooting for brackets, you know, like early on, like, in one bracket, I had Kentucky winning. Well, okay, root for chaos with that one. But then Kansas kept hanging on, right? And then the other one, I shouldn't say that. I'm going to be rooting for Duke over UNC.
Yeah.
However, it would be better for my bracket
If UNC won.
if UNC won because there are a lot of people that have Duke. And if Duke loses and Kansas wins 2 more, then I would jump a lot of people.
Aren't you going to be the champ if that happens?
I could be. Now, I have, in my bracket, I have Kansas beating Duke. But, like, sacrificing that win for others not getting it and my champion still being around.
No.
Oh, not good.
Oh.
You know, that would I don't know how the math works in the scoring, but that could work out in my favor. To get 2 more wins and a lot of people get no more wins, you know?
I don't know if I've ever done that in the history of me playing this game, Justin.
Throw a pick 6?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I've thrown pick 6s before. So anyway, but like I want Duke to win. But then if it comes down to the final, and if it's Kansas, well, I shouldn't say that. There's a scenario where it would be Villanova and Duke.
Oh, that would be tough. I would probably root for Nova.
Oh, I'd be rooting.
But, like, Coach K's
That's the thing. That's the thing with Coach K is the only reason that I'd be rooting for them over Nova. But, like, I want Nova to win. How crazy is it through the last
6 tournaments, Villanova is 20-3
That's crazy.
because they've won 2 of them and they haven't lost in this one yet.
Yeah. And there wasn't one for a year.
Right, and they won championships in the other 2.
Yeah.
Like it's just nuts.
They won 16 and 18, right? And then
yeah,
there
16
wasn't
and
one
18.
in 20.
It's just crazy. Like Jay Wright, man, he has them really going. And I know I don't know how this happened, but like probably just because when you start liking like tweets about the tournament, you start ending up with all kinds of stuff.
The
And I had been
algorithm,
liking a lot
Justin.
of Big Ten stuff.
The algorithm.
So I started getting all these people who are complaining about the Maryland coaching search or coaching situation.
Basketball?
Yes.
Wait,
and,
when was the last time Maryland basketball was relevant?
well, and that's part of what they were saying here. And it frustrates them that like when they watch Villanova that like there's always like 2 guys that were like that Maryland should have gotten because they recruit the
Same area.
the DMV very well.
So they were really good when we were in college. And Maryland
Oh my
was
gosh, yeah.
before they made it before they went to the Big Ten, right? Essentially.
Yeah. Well, they were like always back and forth with those Duke teams and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's why. Don't get me wrong. Like, and financially, and man, look at how the Big Ten Network does compared to the ACC Network. Financially, it works for Maryland. Like, it really does. But from their standpoint, they were a better fit in the ACC.
Oh, by and
Basketball
large, yeah.
first school. Like, honestly, there are years where with Loxley there, I feel like they could be competitive, like top half of the ACC.
Well, and like
football wise, because football they've had Clemson and no one else. You know what I mean? Like, I think we could if we're not going to, but if we were to go through and do that exercise we did with AFC Quarterbacks with Maryland and ACC football teams, I think I put them ahead of more than half.
they're way in front of Pitt, that's for sure.
Heck yeah.
Pitt's like the bottom rung.
So like I just like don't. It makes sense financially. I understand, but man, it's a hard sell. I think.
Yeah. Do you care more about money or about winning? About being relevant?
Yeah.
Because really, I mean, Maryland football in the Big Ten, they've been beaten Penn State, twice? Once was, like, right at the beginning of the actual issues with scholarships.
Yes.
Like, it was the first time we saw that be an issue. It was 2014, right? That was the handshake game, wasn't it?
So that game, I was really frustrated. One, starting with that, I was there, and on the way out, that was a game where there was like no fire in it. I shouldn't say that. That's unfair. It seemed like there was no fire in the Penn State guys, and I was walking out, and I had a young child
who was really young,
who was at home, and I'm like
6 months old.
Right. I'm like, I'm not going to continue to waste my time to come up here if that's the kind of effort they're going to put out. You know, it was one of those moments. Like, as I'm walking down the ramps in the stadium.
Right.
But when you look at it, like the whole 59-0 shellacking a couple years ago.
What I was going to say, though, is the only time they've beaten us since they've been in the Big Ten the COVID year? What, a year ago? A year and a half ago now?
Yes.
Right? Because it always feels like Maryland and Rutgers want to be our rival, and we want nothing to do with it.
Right. So leads to an interesting conversation as well. Like, Austin's been asking a lot about rivals, right? And just like how does it work and with sports and all that stuff. And so he'll talk about Penn State, and I'm like, it's hard because I'm like, buddy, in my mind, like there isn't like a written rule of this, I don't think. But like in my mind, like if I ask you who your rival is and that school wouldn't say the same thing, then they're not your biggest rival or you're not true rivals.
Right.
And I say that there may be some Penn State fans, I don't know, but I gave this as the example, who might say Ohio State. There is not an Ohio State fan who's going to say Penn State's their biggest rival.
Same thing with Michigan.
And same thing with Michigan, right. And I'm like, so then when you go outside of that, I'm like, I don't think there's anyone there. And it came up during the wrestling because I was like, well, in wrestling, Iowa and Penn State would be rivals. Like I kind of, just because, but I could understand where people be like, well, if you're going to go by sport, then that doesn't, you're kind of, okay. I could understand that. I could understand you saying like, no, not really. But like, I feel like in that sport, they're rivals just because of the situations they find themselves in so often,
Yeah,
But,
I completely understand what you're saying, and I by and large agree with it. Pitt should be our rival in everything.
Yeah.
But because we're not in the same conference, it makes it tough. And I don't want to give Pitt the satisfaction of being their rival.
No. Right.
Because
Right.
we're better than them.
Right.
We are better than them. But that's the same thing with Rutgers, Temple, and Maryland. Like
Right.
the three of them, too. I don't even know. I mean, I know back in the day, Syracuse and Virginia Tech, West Virginia were all in that conversation, too. But, like, I don't think any of those teams outside of Pitt would really call us their rival.
No, like I feel like there's that
Which, you know what?
that
Penn State
sense
should
of
come
rivalry.
come
but
up
the
with
fact
some.
that, but the fact that we can, like, if I gave you that list outside of Pitt, and I'm like, who's the rival? Like, it would just be luck of the draw. You know what I mean? Which tells you they're not. It's not the rivalry.
Penn State really should come up with some marketing term, like unrivaled or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. You mean it's not Michigan State?
But also, Michigan State wouldn't. They would say Michigan, which also plays into the no
Right.
one at Michigan's picking.
Right.
Well, probably in Michigan, there are
Well-
some people that probably would say
and here
Michigan
you
State
go.
over
So,
Ohio
like, I
State.
feel
As
like-
crazy as that sounds.
Even if you get super sport specific, like I did just a minute ago, even if you ask Iowa wrestlers, like wrestling, over the last decade, they may say Penn State. Honestly, they probably wouldn't even for the first part, but like over the second half, you might say Penn State. But like if you've got like the lifers, they probably might say like Oklahoma State or something like that. Those,
Well,
those
and
ones
Iowa State always.
right, like all that stuff. Like, so I don't even know if that would even still work.
He dropped it again.
So it's just one of those things where
That's so
that whole
annoying.
rivalry thing is interesting.
It's an interesting conversation for sure, but it means more to me in college. Like I know there's some people that
Oh
would
my
be
gosh,
like, no way.
Well, that's like
But I think about when I go through like the divisions as the NFL has them now.
right.
Like, as a Dolphins fan, who is my biggest rival? Like if you're going by recent success, it would be the Patriots.
Right.
But historically speaking, I don't know who I could pick
Right.
because all of them are our rivals. That's why they're in the division with us.
So here you go. Like even if you look at the Eagles, like you ask the Eagles, I think people would say the Cowboys. Right.
But I think so would the Giants and the Commanders.
Correct. And I don't know. So like the Dallas
Ugh, that was bad.
like the Dallas side of that, if I were to ask someone, well, around here, I feel like it might be skewed. Like your dad may say like, oh, it's the Eagles are the Cowboys' biggest rival. But I don't know that that's true for
Right.
Dallas fans as a whole. Like
Right.
the Dallas fans I know are central to Pennsylvania, which means that could be skewed. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I feel like when you see the scheduling and stuff, they talk about it being a divisional game, but like they hype up those Dallas-Washington games a lot, maybe not in the
I
last
feel
year
like-
or so, but like
Every team in a lot of those divisions. Like look at the NFC North.
yeah.
Tell me which of those. Like if only they can only be rivals with one team. Who gets what?
Right.
Is it Packers, Bears, and Vikings, Lions?
Right. I see.
Or is it Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears?
You find yourself in an interesting spot there because I think Bears would say Packers. I think many Packers would say Bears, but also like
Vikings?
geographically, you're going to get a lot of Vikings there. Like, man.
That could be an off-season project for us. Is
Yes.
Who is everyone's NFL rival?
Establishing it once and for all.
Yeah, this is what we say goes.
Right. And like I said at the start of this, like it's not written anywhere that I know of. We'll have to write it down. Maybe we'll put it in stone.
That's right.
This is how it is.
Anything else about the March Madness? Because that's
Well,
what we were talking
speaking
about.
of rivalries, Duke, North Carolina, man.
Oh yeah, and I had started to say that they've
Yep.
never met in a Final Four.
And here we go. And like it would be kind of poetic after how all the. And again, I'm not like the biggest Duke fan. I'm also not like a Duke hater necessarily. So there were a lot of North Carolina and Duke hater fans that were just running their mouths after North Carolina won that game in
Coach
in
K's
Durham.
last home game.
And like, oh man, can you imagine like just the Duke fans and team being able to flip the script on that and
With
turn it
going
the
to
other way?
the championship game.
Right. Like, yeah, you beat him, but he beat you in the Final Four to win it. But so even if Duke wins, then it comes down to Kansas and my bracket and maybe winning it, or it comes down to Nova and Duke, and that's really tough.
Yeah, if North Carolina wins,
I'm
hope
rooting
it's
for
Nova.
Kansas or Nova.
So am I.
Yep.
If Duke wins, I'll root for Duke over Kansas, but probably Nova over Duke.
How insane
tough,
would it
though.
be for Jay Wright and Villanova to have 3 championships in the last 6 years? That would be nuts.
I saw Freezing Cold Takes post someone from the end of the 15 season, I think.
Yeah.
About how they wanted Jay Wright fired.
Right. Right.
Oh, God. Fans are crazy.
Yeah.
But Villanova did get bad news that I can't think of his name.
I know who you mean, though.
He tore his Achilles, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's unfortunate, especially considering Villanova really only goes 6 deep. They only go to that 6th man, but hey,
no one said it would be easy, only that it would be worth it.
Right. So we'll see. Also, how about that Villanova team's probably going to set the Division I record for foul shooting percentage.
Wow.
And they're as a team, shoot over 86%. And they were going against Houston, who as a team ranked 324th in foul shooting percentage.
So you're saying that's bad?
That's hard to do.
That is really hard to do.
If you just sat there and threw the ball up at the rim, you're going to be probably better than them.
All right, you're up. Milk the clock there.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was a nice one.
I don't think they can hang with us as long as we're not shooting ourselves in the foot. So, I don't know. I haven't. I forgot what I was gonna say. I kind of like talking that random NFL stuff, like ranking the quarterbacks.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was good. That was a good one.
I was going to say, well, who do you want the Dolphins to get in the draft? But
an offensive lineman, I guess. Offensive lineman, maybe a linebacker or defensive lineman. It all depends on how things shake out. I don't want them moving up anymore, mortgaging more of their draft picks.
Right.
They still have 4 or 5 picks this year, but the earliest is 101.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Oh, are you kidding me?
I had the pass defense. You know what I mean?
You know what they say about the prevent defense?
Oh my gosh.
If my dad's watching, he's freaking out right now. He hates the prevent defense.
Well, maybe he went.
They get the ball too.
Maybe he went to
That one's gonna be on ESPN Top 10, but behind a really stupid dunk. An inside joke.
All right. So how about, this is just random, but how about the Phillies, man? Bats were lighting it up today. Harper had 2 home runs in his first 2 at bats.
Yep, saw that. Castellanos debuted.
And Mickey Moniak's bat has been popping the last couple weeks.
How about Hazley?
Hey. Let's
having options is good. They traded Luke Williams today, which was the end of an interesting run for him. That that was a fun story.
Right.
So good luck to him. I know the social media team tweeted out that his walk off. So that was fun. I was surprised to see that happen because they traded him for another outfielder, I think.
Right.
But always cautiously optimistic about the Phillies. They've burned us the last 2 years, but I feel like honestly they're kind of like the Dolphins. Like
I lined up my first tickets to go down. So.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I feel like if they're not, I know there's questions on defense and with pitching, both starting like having them healthy and also relief pitching. But I just hope they're fun to watch. Like if you're giving me offense, that's entertaining.
Right.
I'll be frustrated by the errors and also giving up 5 to 7 runs a game. But if we're scoring 8 to 10, it won't matter.
Right.
So not that I expect them to average 8 to 10 runs, but it's just the thought of what they're going to be able to do is.
But if they do,
but if they do, they'll probably be okay. You know, we always say 2 out of 3, which correlates to what 100 and some wins, 102 wins, or something like that. So, hey, I would take that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for the Phillies. I'm glad that they got all that worked out and that the Phillies decided, hey, we don't want just one of the top 5 free agents. We'll take 2 of them.
Yeah.
And when it was all 3 of them were on the table, I wanted Chris Bryant.
So did I.
But then when they got Schwarber, I was like, oh, okay. And then when that Castellanos things came out, I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 2 of them for the price of Bryant.
Right.
So.
And I said to you before, like, are you taking the over or the under on 3.5 years before the Rockies are shopping Chris Bryant?
Under. Because didn't you say 3 years or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. On Twitter, there was one of those fake accounts was saying like the day after they're already shopping him. Yeah.
Because that's what they do. I feel like their owner is just compensating because there was a lot of backlash because he gave away all their good players and didn't even get anything in return. Like the Pirates usually get like lots of draft picks in return and stuff like that. I shouldn't say draft picks, prospects. I don't know that you can trade draft picks in
Yeah, I don't know how that works. How does it make any sense to let Trevor Story go but then sign Chris Bryant?
Dude, it's the Rockies, man.
They're just Marlins West, right?
Terrible ownership group. And yeah, it's unfortunate.
Whew. What's he up to? Almost over 100. So since the last time we were on, I forget what it's being called, but basically the Penn State collective for name, image, likeness debuted.
Yeah.
Which is, it's about time that finally happened for Penn Staters.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Oh my, are you kidding me? Jeez.
This is not good.
The thing that's frustrating about that, like when I throw an interception,
right?
I probably did something wrong.
I know what you mean, right?
Although there are some that I'm like, there's no way he got to that.
Right.
But like the ones I've thrown
fumbles,
tonight,
there's nothing you can
they
do.
were bad decisions. I own up to that. But like fumbling, I'm not gonna run like hold the. I'm not gonna hold the
trying to pop the ball out
cover with both arms every play.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna do that because you slow down.
You see, he's like 9 of 10 for like 100-some yards. 80 of that came on one play.
Yeah.
At half. I thought he fumbled. Oh man.
Oh, so frustrating. All right, let's dive into the rivalry things quickly. Let's start with NFC West. Seahawks, 49ers, Cardinals, Rams. Oof. The Cardinals are the odd man out.
Yeah.
I feel like you could make a case for 49ers, Seahawks, or Rams, 49ers. I feel like the 49ers are the pinnacle there.
Yeah.
I feel that they're like the lever. Like, which team do you want to pair with who? I feel like recent trends, I would probably say 49ers, Rams.
I agree.
And then do Seahawks, Cardinals. Currently. But I would love to hear.
Agree. But it's even just a few years ago, it would have been Seahawks, Niners.
49ers, right.
But yeah, I would go 49ers Rams with the back and forth they had this year, and
It's also like technically those are still young and blossoming because the Cardinals moved over, what, in the late 90s or the early 2000s. When did that change happen with them?
I don't remember.
From it's the NFC East, right?
Yeah.
And the Seahawks were an AFC team.
Right. And also like with the Rams moving back out to California, like I view that more as a rivalry than when they're in St. Louis. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
so those are interesting ones. All right, let's stay out west and go to the AFC. This one is tough.
yeah.
So you got Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, and Chargers. Oh my gosh.
So here's the thing. I feel like the Chargers are the odd ones out just because like they couldn't get people to go to they couldn't fill a 20,000 seat soccer stadium.
Right.
Now I know that's when they moved and stuff, but like, and the Raiders, despite moving all over the place, have an incredibly loyal fan base, like.
Right. So we actually have a listener that is a big Broncos fan, Coach Steve, Coach O'Neill. And I think he told me that I believe, what was that? That was just a ridiculous series. He sees the main rival for Denver as the Raiders, Broncos-Raiders, which would leave it to be Chiefs-Chargers.
Okay. I'm
not opposed to that.
Yeah, and I would honestly have to defer to the Broncos.
To someone who's a fan of the team. Yeah. I always thought Raiders-Chiefs was a big one.
See, and that's the thing. I feel like Raiders would be the rival for all. They're like we talked about the Niners. The Raiders would be the one.
Or like the Cowboys.
Right. Yes. They would be the one that's doing it. That would be a heck of a time for a pick six.
Yes, it would. Whew. So I'll defer to Steve and say Broncos, Raiders, Chiefs, Chargers then. That's fine. NFC South. Panthers, Bucks, Falcons, Saints. Panthers, Bucks, Falcons, Saints. This one's weird to me.
Oh, no.
I'm not sure where to go with this one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that one's interesting. I feel like for some reason I want to pair the Saints and the Falcons.
Okay.
For some reason, but Buccaneers Panthers doesn't do a lot for me. But I don't know really. Like, none of those are marquee games to me. They've been marquee over the last decade or so because of the quarterbacks that have been there.
Right.
Namely, now Brady with the Bucs, but Drew Brees with the Saints was the big draw. And then the years like when Cam Newton was at the top of his game with the Panthers. And then there was always the Battle of the Domes with the Falcons and Saints. I guess that's why I favor that. I feel like a lot of those big games, and even like the things related to Hurricane Katrina, I feel like it was always the Saints upending the Falcons or the Falcons upsetting the Saints when it came to big games. So I guess I favor Falcons Saints there, but that just leaves Panthers Bucks. But I don't know. We would need input from an NFC South fan, I think, on their opinion for that. And you have any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, see, I feel like the Saints are kind of the pin there.
Oh!
Kick it off!
Are they going for it?
Yeah, because they're in no man's land, I think.
Nice. Oh, we fumbled it.
I wish we would have picked it up instead of just running.
I didn't use a timeout though.
But if they get a first down, there might be in field goal territory.
Right, exactly. And I'm saying like you have all 3 timeouts yet. I mean, I know you can see that, but more that I was gonna have to start using them. But all right.
AFC South.
Okay, so AFC South.
Colts, Titans, Jaguars, Texans.
I'm gonna go Jaguars and Titans, and then actually, we'll do Colts, Titans, and
Oh my God.
Colts, Titans, Jaguars, Texans. That's how I'm gonna match them up.
Okay.
I just feel like the Colts and the Titans have more consistently been, although they rotate through in that division.
There's too much of an important play to. That wasn't done very well. Again, the South teams are a mystery to me.
Yeah. The South teams, including Indianapolis.
Oh my God. Are you fucking kidding me? I hate everything. This is why this game is so frustrating. We can go into Georgia against a team ranked 99 across the board and beat them, being down 14-0.
Right, 14-0 at half, beat them 21-14.
But can't beat a 2-4 or 2-5 UTSA team. Oh, God. This is demoralizing. You've got that two
touchdown play.
Two touchdowns in a minute, right?
Right. If you've got the 2 touchdown play, now's the time to break it out. Oh, man.
Well, that takes the air out of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Takes the air out of the discussion.
Right. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
But yeah.
that's-
So, all right, where do we go? Do we go to the AFC North?
No, NFC North.
Oh, okay, NFC North. Then that one's tough. We kind of talked about this one. I'm going to go with Packers, Bears, Vikings, Lions. I know that doesn't necessarily... I feel like Packers, Bears is the one I hear about more often. So that's what I'm going to go with. Even though Packers, Vikings is probably, like, regionally just as big.
This is the first one that really hurts over this last year of playing this.
Yes. That first year we lost some, and that was, like, frustrating. But I was like, yeah.
3 interceptions and a fumble. The one that makes me mad is the fumble because we were driving.
Well, and I am mad about the Hail Mary before half. Like I don't know why these guys are just, like, going off in the other direction. You know what I mean? Like, I should have just let him score. No, I shouldn't. Well, that'll be that.
That's annoying.
I jumped off sides. On purpose.
I hope I put up one where the game's not on. It's probably for the best if the game's not on right now. I can't believe that happened. That's
You called it too.
I did. I said like that was bad. That was bad. That was
Yeah.
my worst offensive performance since we've been playing this.
That was just not. It's much like the sports we talk about. It's not as much fun when we don't win.
Right? Yeah. Well, who would have thought that, huh?
Oh
my gosh. Yeah. So that was that. 7-1 on the season. Now we're gonna drop from 5 to maybe out of the side of the top 10. We lost to the Roadrunners, who were 2-5 before.
Yeah, I'll just let that sit because I don't.
So that's disappointing. But
right.
All right. Well, thanks for sitting here and listening to us talk about mostly NFL, a little March Madness, couple Phillies topics, but
We'll save that soccer topic for some other time with your dad.
yeah, I blame you for bringing up soccer. That's why we played so poorly in that
We played
last
to
game.
such a low score.
So yeah, we just got humiliated and humbled by the Roadrunners of Texas San Antonio, 28-14, which is our first loss since like the beginning of the 2014 season. Because didn't we lose like week 1 or 2, and then we went undefeated the rest of the way?
I think so.
So yeah, that one hurts. That one stings. We'll see what happens next week when we play games 9 and 10. Hopefully we can get back in the win column and move on and still win the conference championship. And I don't know if we have a chance at the BCS anymore. We might get a cool bowl game, but I don't think we'll be able to claw our way back.
Quick soccer note. As long as the U.S. doesn't lose by 6 on Wednesday night to Costa Rica, they will qualify for the World Cup.
Hey, all right. There you go. Yeah. There's our soccer talk. Yeah. Happy birthday to my Aunt Joyce, celebrating, I think, tomorrow or Tuesday. Jason, who is actually leading the bracket pool right now.
Yes.
He celebrates this weekend. It's a big one. His 40th is Thursday, so happy birthday to Jason. And we'll be back again next Sunday, which I think is April 3rd. Yeah, April 3rd. 2022 to play more NCAA Football 14 and talk about whatever's going on in sports. That'll be episode 355, but this was episode 354 of the Joe Mays and J-Raff Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. For Justin Raffoff, I'm Joe Mays. Until next time, thanks for listening.
That's a wrap on this episode of the Joe Mays and J-Raff Show. Brought to you by Mays Sandwich Shop. Woo-hoo! You can watch each weekly episode live on Facebook, Periscope, or YouTube. Be sure to like, follow, or subscribe to the show on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. You can also rate and review us on many of these platforms as well. We'd love to hear from you. Send your emails to the Mays Sandwich Shop inbox at joemaysandjraff@gmail.com. The Joe Mays and J-Raff Show is a part of the JMNJR Radio Network, home to other productions such as The Bulldog Hour, Tangents with Friends, and Nat Chats with Dad. Until next time.